Will AI replace thumbnail designers? Now, if you are a thumbnail designer, this has probably crossed your mind at least once. And in today's video, I'm really going to dispel all the common beliefs about how AI is going to take over this space entirely. Now, any thoughts, any questions that you've probably had sticking in your mind regarding this specific topic, I'm probably going to answer them in this video. So with that being said, let's get straight into the video. So the first question is, why are we having this conversation right now? Now, AI image generation has crossed the usable quality, and if you've looked at image generation, it's not necessarily a new thing. It's been around for a while, but it's only as of recent that the quality of these outputs are really good, so much so that you can use them in your own thumbnail design work and have no issues with it. AI image generation models are able to generate really high quality images and outputs simply by using prompts, and a prompt is you just simply describing what it is you want the AI to generate. Now, the speed and cost advantages of this are undeniable, because for a fraction of the cost of a thumbnail designer, you can create images or outputs which can pretty much be at the level of a beginner thumbnail designer. So if we were to just look at the cost itself, AI would be much cheaper than hiring a beginner thumbnail designer. And because of this, entry barriers are collapsing. So there are more people now that have no experience in the design field which are actually giving thumbnails a go. So many of the beginner creators on YouTube, many of them will opt to just try and make the thumbnail designs themselves, because of course you can imagine for a small YouTube creator, every dollar counts, and so they're not going to be too excited on spending their money for thumbnail designs. And so as a result, with the new AI tools, they'll probably give it a go and try and do that part themselves. And so this is probably going to be one of the biggest shifts which is going to happen in this space. Now, if you're really just a beginner designer at the very bottom, you don't have much thumbnail design skill, AI is probably going to take your spot. And below, as you can see, we have a couple of examples of the latest image generation models out there, or just image generation sites. So we have Nana Banana Pro. This is probably the best one at the current moment in time by Google. And we have ChatGPT, Image 1.5, Seedream 4.5, and I would say this one is really underrated and pretty much nearly at the same quality of Nana Banana Pro. And we have Midjourney as well. And many of you may have heard of Midjourney before. So let's run through what AI does very well. Now, AI is very good at generating visual ideas quickly. For a thumbnail designer, that would equate to speed, producing multiple variations, which for a thumbnail designer equates to ideation, being able to create many different ideas, and removing the technical friction, which for a thumbnail designer is the skill itself. And with all these three elements, this is why I say that AI at its current state is better than a beginner designer right now, or at least at the same level. And you have to keep in mind that AI will only continue to improve from here. So to succeed in the new landscape of thumbnail design, you must integrate AI into your workflow. So for example, as a beginner designer, instead of just accepting that AI is going to replace you, what you actually need to do is take the opposite approach and integrate AI into your own workflow, and you'll become better because of it. Because if you don't, what you need to realize is that AI is already good enough to replace some human work, and that's at the current stage right now. So it's only going to improve from here. So who is most at risk? So designers who only focus on execution without strategy. So these are the designers which don't actually have a thought process on how to get the click. They don't really think about what the viewer on the other side is going to see to make them want to click. They really just make the thumbnail, create the visual, and that's that. Designers who only use thumbnail templates, so similar to designers who only focus on execution, these designers really just follow guidelines, follow a set template, and don't really think too much about what will generate the click. And low cost, high volume work, because really for the thumbnail designers out there that are trying to deliver 10 thumbnails in an hour or two, you can pretty much tell they're not really putting too much thought into the strategy behind the thumbnail doing well. And so markets always compress from the bottom up. Simply put, designers who focus on churning out multiple thumbnails within an hour will be wiped out by AI first. Beginner designers are now forced to level up in order to succeed. Now let's talk about what AI still struggles with, because it does still struggle with things. It's not like it's perfect, guys. So the first one is evaluating performance context. So AI doesn't quite understand what will do well in what specific scenario. So for a finance niche or for maybe a lifestyle niche where there's a specific context, AI doesn't really understand the nuances there, right? So understanding intent and nuance. So AI will never really get this right, in my personal opinion. There's always going to be an element of just personal human context, which is really going to make you understand how to create the thumbnail in the best possible way. So AI will give you its interpretation of what it thinks is the best solution, but it can't actually completely understand the situation, the context perfectly. Now the third one is making the correct trade-offs. So similar to understanding intent and nuance, AI still isn't the best at knowing to pick this option versus that option. That's where a human comes in. So picking from different variations, knowing when to, say for example, add a bit of a glow or not add a glow, or add some text or not add text, AI still struggles with that at this current moment in time. Now the fourth one is understanding artistic quality and taste, basically the ability to know precisely what looks good. Now this is something I think that AI will always have a tough time with, and that is just understanding what genuinely looks good. Now it's basically the designer's eye, knowing to add glow there. Is that attractive? Is that not? That's something that only really a human can gauge properly, and AI can only, once again, give you their interpretations of what they think looks good, but it's really down to the human designer to make that choice. So evaluating designs and dictating what thumbnail will perform better is still something a designer must do. Knowing what generates clicks, what changes are either necessary or unnecessary, still require human input, and that will be where the main value lies for a designer operating in the AI era. The shift isn't from humans to AI, it's from execution to judgment. So AI will generate the options, humans will decide what is right, and the performance of a thumbnail designer lives within those decisions. So with time, less and less importance will be placed on the designer actually creating the thumbnail itself, as AI will be able to generate the concepts for you. Now it's never going to get it perfect, but the point is that AI slowly and slowly, as it improves, will be able to take on some of the work for you, the workload, and your job will transition more into a creative director role where you are just distinguishing between the different options and picking the best one. Now we're quite a long way from that. It's not necessarily going to happen within 6 months, but that will be sort of the gradual shift that will happen within this space. There'll be less need for you to actually create the thumbnail, but rather just pick, and based on the knowledge that you have of thumbnail psychology, you'll be the one that just picks between the options and select the best one that will perform the best. Now after I said that, I'm pretty sure a lot of you, or most of you, even thought that, is learning Photoshop still worth it, and do we even need technical skills if you're saying that AI can just generate the thumbnails for you, or if that's even what's going to happen in the future, what's the point of learning Photoshop? Now AI generated images will not do all of the work, and you still will have to make manual adjustments, and to make those manual adjustments you're going to have technical skills, i.e. you're going to need to have some basic Photoshop ability. And I wouldn't even say basic, it depends on the complexity of the thumbnail. Really, the truth is that designers who utilize AI and have the technical skills will have the most control of the final result. So the higher your technical skills, and if you go ahead and use AI as well, you will have the most control of the final result. That's because AI can do some of the work for you, and then you, with your technical skills, can really just fix things and improve upon it and make it perfect for you. If you didn't have the skills, then you'd pretty much be at the mercy of whatever AI generated for you. And so this is why AI is not the complete solution. You still need to have skills, and if you thought this video was about me just telling you to just use AI and just start being lazy and not have to learn any skills, then this is not the video for you. You're still going to have to make an effort to learn the skills, learn Photoshop, learn basic design principles. These things will always remain the baseline foundation of a successful thumbnail designer. So Photoshop, is still important. Now here is a visual I just created to describe the potential of different thumbnail designers in different categories. And so we have beginner designers, intermediate designers, and advanced designers. Now in each category we have different colors associated to the different people within those specific groups. So for the light purple we have a designer which is only focused on technical design skills. The darker purple represents the thumbnail designer which focuses on both technical design skills and using AI. And then the darker bluish purple that we have right here, this represents the designer which is focused on technical design skills, AI usage, and also has in-depth knowledge of thumbnail psychology. So for each category you're going to have 3 types of designers within that category. So as you can see as well, we have this yellow sign, this danger sign, which basically just represents that these are the designers that will be forced to level up or they will struggle in this new climate. So as you can see right here, if I just zoom in slightly, you can see that for a beginner designer which only has a beginner's level of technical design skills, they will struggle moving forward, unless of course they level up. The same can be said for a beginner designer that also uses AI but just has a very basic level of technical skill. And by the way, when I say technical design skills, that just means understanding a layout, composition, design principles, and all the things related within that bubble. We can also say the same for intermediate designers which only have technical design skills, because like I mentioned already, AI will remove some of that technical friction, making it easier for designers to go ahead and replicate work that previously they wouldn't have been able to create. So now just technical skills alone, unless you're really at that highest level, it won't separate you from the pack, and so you're going to need other elements in play in order to really have an advantage. You can see that beginner designers that make use of all the 3 elements, basically combining technical design skills, AI, and also thumbnail psychology, will be able to do well in the market. And you can see that gradually increase for every category, given that they actually add in more elements and do not just rely on technical skills alone. Now you can see for the advanced designers, those at the elite level which have a tremendous amount of technical skill, they will always be in demand, but you can see that their potential increases to this very high level if they go ahead and make use of all the 3 elements. So any designers right here and right here and even right here that are comfortable where they are, they will be forced to move up the chain in order to really do well. Otherwise they will struggle to get clients and they will just be behind the competition, which will make use of the other elements such as using AI and also having an in-depth knowledge of thumbnail psychology. Now the good news is that people still need thumbnail designs. Now the demand for thumbnail designers does not just disappear. YouTube is a constantly growing platform, and as YouTube grows, the demand for thumbnail designers will continue to exist. There will be a portion, however, of creators that previously needed thumbnail designers that will feel empowered to create their own thumbnails with AI themselves. However, in my opinion, I believe this will still be the minority. And the reason why I say this is because creators who decide to create their own thumbnails will still have to go through the learning curve of learning how to use AI and have foundational design fundamentals in order to create decent results. And because of that, I believe this may turn off many creators from trying to make the effort to figure it out, especially if they're not really interested in design. So the demand for thumbnail designers will continue to exist, but they must level up in order to thrive. So now if you're wondering how the market specifically will change, let's run through it very quickly. So this is what is going to change moving forward. So thumbnail designers will be forced to level up in order to compete. We've already run through this one, and some thumbnail designers will quit because of this. Now this is the sad reality. The fact is that there will be thumbnail designers out there that will consider quitting because they hear that AI is here to take their jobs. It sort of makes them worry about the future prospects of what's available for them, or if they can even build a career in thumbnail design. And I'm here to tell you that if you are thinking of quitting, you shouldn't. You should simply just take a step back and understand that all you really have to do is adapt and continue to practice and work on your craft, and you'll be just fine. Just try and integrate AI into your workflow, and it could be something as simple as just upscaling your images as a starting point. You don't need to get all into AI, you can work your way up and slowly, gradually improve. There's no rush, guys, but just make sure that you have the goal in mind to start to adapt and implement some AI workflows into your system. Beginner designers that decide not to level up will be wiped out by AI, and they will just pretty much not have any opportunities available to them, because there will be creators which can use AI to pretty much replicate their skill level. Clients' expectations will rise. Some clients will now expect work to be done faster. So with the advent of AI, of course, it's made things easier slightly from a technical standpoint, which if a client is actually clued up as to what AI can do, they may expect you to be able to do work faster for them. Now, this isn't the majority, but some minority of clients will have this idea that you can do things faster now you have AI to help you, which is not necessarily the case and how it works, but that's how some clients actually think, guys. Now, AI aversion. Now, some clients will actually not prefer thumbnails that look AI generated. So in the midst of all these thumbnails which are being generated by AI, there will be an aversion to it. There are some clients that will prefer the human touch, the human effort, and so the sweet spot will lie in using AI as a tool rather than having complete reliance on it. And your selling point will lean more towards generating results for a client as opposed to generating pretty thumbnails. That's all stuff AI can do, but getting the results, getting people to click, that's something that's going to require a human designer. That's the human touch, and like I mentioned, that's where the market shift is going to happen, from execution to judgment. The truth is, guys, that every creative niche will feel AI pressure. There is no safe niche anymore, and the advantage goes to those who adapt the fastest, not those who panic and run. Now, like I mentioned, if you at any point have decided you want to quit thumbnail design because of what's going on with AI, I'm here to tell you that if you are going to shift into another creative niche, AI is going to be there as well, guys. So for us as thumbnail designers, we're no special victims. AI has affected every creative niche in some regard, and if you don't believe me, guys, go ahead and check for yourself. There is AI everywhere, and so to run away from it is actually the wrong approach, but rather to adapt to it and use it in your workflow to your advantage. That's the way forward, and if you do that, you'll be just fine. Now, here is an action plan for you guys, because I wouldn't be doing you justice if I was just going to talk about the situation and not actually give you some actionable steps that you can go ahead and do to put you at the front of the race. So number one is learn AI and how to integrate it into your workflow. So this means studying image generation, experimenting with it, and understanding how to generate good prompts using ChatGPT. Just learning ChatGPT and how to make use of it as best as you can. That alone, guys, believe it or not, will really help you in your workflow. Photoshop generative AI. Now, this is going to depend on whether you have the latest version of Photoshop, but for Photoshop generative AI, there are many use cases for thumbnail designers on where they can use that in their workflow, and I'm actually going to make a video on that for you. Now, upscaling and enhancers. So there's a myriad of different upscalers and enhancers, and if you don't even know what that is, I would suggest that that is a good place to start. Just experiment using some free upscalers and see how that improves the quality of your images or just your final thumbnails in general. Now, some elements of learning AI will require you to spend money, i.e. through subscriptions or memberships, and this is the nature of the market. However, there are some free tools designers can use and some workarounds if that's the route you decide to go on, but I'm not going to condone any bad behavior. So number two is study thumbnail psychology and understand what triggers clicks. CTR stands for click-through rate, and just understanding what it is, understanding the psychology of what makes people click. That is going to be a very important part of thumbnail design moving forward, especially as the need for technical skills decreases over time. So make sure that you are prioritizing learning thumbnail psychology, and I'll make some content on this as well. Number three, continue to hone in on your technical skills. Like I mentioned, it's not about now just relying on AI solely. Keep improving your skills and you'll be able to utilize AI better because of that. The better your technical skills, the more control you will have of the final result, and that's all that matters in the end. And number 4, subscribe to this channel. I'm here to help you all, and I'll be making a lot of content on AI, just keeping you up to date with how things are changing, and I'll be adding in some AI tutorials just to keep you guys up to speed with that. So subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.